We are rolling on September 14th, the last day of summer session B. C, yeah, thank you. Well, it's a beautiful day in Los Angeles. The sunshine is not shining, but still it's trying. And our thoughts and prayers are with those unfortunate people in Texas and Florida. But now we must turn our attention to some persuasive speeches. And in particular, we want to see that someone is capable of making an argument from authority and persuading us. So we will start first with, oh, do we have a timer?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. We will start first with Lorena.
Hello, my name's Lorena.
Hi, Lorena.
Bonjour, ¿cómo ça va? Hola, ¿cómo le va? Hello, how's it going? Today I want to persuade you to learn a new language. I will give you 2 reasons, as well as some actions and benefits that come with my proposal. Now, I know that learning a new language is challenging. I still remember my French teacher, Mr. Dumbia, that he would call me to speak French and I would be like, je ne sais pas, I don't know. But, however, although it was hard, learning French is not something I regret. If you guys give me the opportunity, I want to show you how beneficial it is to learn a new language. The first reason why I want you to learn a new language is because it helps boost mental agility. A 2016 study by the University of Edinburgh found that mental agility could be boosted by even a short period of learning a new language. Now, I know as college students, trying to figure out the time to learn a new language seems impossible. However, only 15 minutes a day is enough to help you learn a new language and to help you see its benefits. Intelligence, memory, decision making, those are, to name a few, are all benefits that you could get from learning a new language. That is the first reason why I want you to consider learning a new language. The second reason why I want you to consider learning a new language is because it opens new doors of communications. Many doctors, nurses, police officers, and even teachers have to speak more than one language in order to do their job effectively. As a wayfinder in the UCLA Ronald Reagan Hospital, I often have to speak more than one language. If you've ever been to the UCLA Medical Center, you know that navigating your way around is not easy. It's even harder if you do not speak English. Because I'm able to speak Spanish and French, mostly I speak Spanish just because of the population, but I'm able to help many individuals who do not speak English. Now, I know you guys might not want to learn Spanish to help other people, but the point is that learning a new language opens new doors of communication. That is the second reason why I want you to consider learning a new language. Now, let me give you some actions if you decide to accept my proposal. The first is you could take a class. UCLA offers more than 40 courses on different languages. Find a language you're interested in taking and take a course. The second thing you could do is watch movies, TV shows, and listen to music in a different language. Not only does that help with your pronunciation, but it helps make learning a new language more enjoyable. And third, if you're interested in learning Spanish or French, you could come ask me about it. I would be more than happy to give you advice or to even help you learn the language. After, I assure you that if you take these actions, I believe that you'll be able to learn a new language. In summary, I have given you 2 reasons why you should learn a new language, as well as some actions and benefits that come with my proposal. There should be no doubt in this room that learning a new language has great value. Ça va bien, et toi? Me va bien, y usted? It is going well. How about you? Learning a new language, it has many benefits. I really hope that you guys take the time to discover and enjoy them. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we'll start on this side. Thank you for waiting respectfully at the door.
Hi, Linda. Hi, Linda.
Hi, Linda.
I thought your speech sounded very professional, but it was also like very likable and relatable, which is good. And I thought I liked how you used statistics, like both facts and like your own personal experience as evidence. I thought together that was like really effective.
So we know that facts are effective, but they're not the only way to support a claim, right? So we saw both in the model and in today's speech an example of that. Yes, please.
I'm Kathy.
Hi, Kathy.
I really liked your speech. I think you could have just improved on like emphasizing the statistic, especially about the Edinburgh one, because it was kind of hard to remember it. And then, yeah.
Okay, good. Lorena, you said hello in Spanish and in French and told, and sort of, that was sort of a quickie. And then you immediately segued into today, I want to learn a new language. That was okay. It was a fairly quick segue. I think to make the case for a new language, you had a better argument down there about doctors, nurses, police officers, or just our multilingual, our multi-diverse society demands it these days that we don't just speak English, But in any case, it was clever, and you tied back to it, and you used the two languages at the end, so that was satisfactory. Your significant statement, you talked about your poor French teacher, Mr. Doumbia, and you could only say, je ne sais pas, the whole time he would ask you a question, and which was, funny. But you finally did get to the end of saying, I want to share with you guys the value of learning a second language, and so that you at least knew what a significant statement was. I agree with Kathy that the University of Edinburgh study on mental agility needed to be highlighted better, and you're really having trouble spitting out intelligence, multitasking, memory, perception, decision making. All these things, just to name a few, were found to be enabled and increased and enhanced by learning a new language by the University of Edinburgh study that happened in 2016. See? So you give it recency too, and give it a little oomph of credibility. So that would have been nice. As I said, I liked your second argument the best. I thought it was most compelling when you talked about doctors and nurses and police officers and, well, everyone, really, and how you were a wayfinder in the Ronald Reagan Hospital where you have used, your trilingual but mainly Spanish ability to help people navigate the hundreds of miles of that Scandinavian maze down there. So that was effective personal storytelling that was quite compelling. On your concrete action, instead of just saying 40 courses, you want to say, you want to stress different ones like Korean, all the African languages. Give people a real, a flavor of what's out there so that they can know that it's not just the old stand-ins of French, Spanish, and Portuguese, and so forth, right? The other examples you gave, you didn't mention, but you said you helped yourself to learn English by watching Nickelodeon, and that would have been good evidence to mention and helpful. And you ask people to consult you. Finally, Lorena, when you come to the benefits, that's a real selling point to an audience in the persuasive realm. You gave it pretty much one sentence. You didn't give it enough oomph. So give it more in the future when you're trying to persuade somebody. Remember to stress how many benefits will come. 3 or 4, a lot of good things will happen. You go to Paris, you'll be able to navigate and not get ripped off by those nasty Parisians, you know, and so forth. Summary, conclusion, and tieback were all fine. Your canais. Don't forget my speech. Make better eye contact and have more confidence. How did it go, Lorena?
I started off good, and then I kind of lost it in the middle. I kind of gained it again in the end.
Okay.
I don't think I necessarily forgot my speech, but I was saying it in my head before I said it, so that caused me to stumble, and I'm like, okay.
Okay.
Then I stopped doing that. So.
Fair enough. One other thing, when you watch yourself tonight on YouTube, you will see that you're still stumbling a little with the left, right, back to center. You want to go back. You always wanted to go back over there, and then you wanted to go back over there. You didn't really want to come back to the center for that big center power stance for your climax. You want to be right in the dead center of the room. But it was a good job. It wasn't. You know, this is a tricky topic to persuade people to do. I mean, on some level, some majors require it, and some people are required to learn a second language to graduate and so forth. So, but so it was a challenge persuasively, because people don't necessarily want to go out and do it really. So you did a good job, Lorena. Thank you. Okay, next. Hi.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Great. Okay. Jessica stands before us, managing attention, communicating respect non-verbally. Shake your hands out, let them be loose by your side. Finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name, feel the love, start your speech.
Hi guys, I'm Jessica.
Hi, Jessica.
My mom once said, the worst feeling as a parent is to grieve over a child who is still alive. At a young age, I had no idea what that meant. Now today, I want to persuade you to sustain from using drugs. I also mean marijuana, and I will give you 2 reasons, as long as 3 actions to take and benefits that will follow. Now, I know that this speech will interest you, because as college students, we are exposed to drugs and alcohol each and every day, and it's so easy for us to get it. And a lot of people believe that in order to make friends or have fun, you need to partake in these actions. But from my personal experience, I'm here to tell you, you don't need to do drugs or drink alcohol just to have fun or have friends. Now, the first reason that I want you guys to sustain from doing drugs is because it impairs your judgment as well as your reaction time. Now, according to the 2014 National Survey of Drug Use and Health, it says that 10 million people aged 12 and over are found driving under the influence of drugs. Now, from these car crashes, 47% are under the use of prescription drugs, 37% are under use of marijuana, and 10% are under the use of cocaine. On a more personal note, my friend had just passed away a couple years ago because she was in a hit-and-run accident. The young girl who was driving was under the influence of drugs, and she hit her with her car as my friend was passing the street with her boyfriend, not even caring to stop to see if anything was okay. Now, this makes me feel terrified because we drive each and every day, and tons of people are driving around us, and many of them are under the influence, and God forbid we may be ones to be in that car accident. Now, another reason that I want you guys to abstain from using drugs is because it becomes highly addictive. My brother is 2 years and 2 months older than I am. And as a kid, he was the perfect child, but what every student called the nerd. And as he grew older, he started doing marijuana because he wanted friends. And his excuse was, well, it's not bad for you, and anyways, it's not like I do it often. A few years down the line, my brother has done every drug I could possibly think of. Now, one day he comes home and my mom is alone and he's banging on the door, and as she opens, she sees him swaying with foam coming out of his mouth. Now, unfamiliar with the situation, she puts him straight to bed. After 28 hours of sleep, my dad forces him to wake up, and he wakes up not knowing what had happened, where his car was, what he was doing, or where he was even the night before. Now, I'm thankful that he did not overdose that night, and I'm even more thankful that he's been sober for the past 4 years. But this makes me feel helpless because we are easily exposed to alcohol and drugs, and now that marijuana has become legal, I fear that kids at a younger age will start doing drugs earlier. Now I will give you 3 actions as to why you should abstain from doing drugs. 1, if you're at a party and someone offers it to you, just politely say no thank you. It's really not that difficult. Another one is just participate in any other thing that does not require you to do drugs. Go to the beach, go to the gym. And another one, just have a group of friends that actually support your decision. Now when you do these actions, you will actually feel very happy about them, because not only are you not harming yourself, but you're more aware and more alert whether you're at school or at work or driving. And there's no way that you're going to doubt or you're going to regret something that happened in the past, like taking someone's life away. Now I've given you 2 reasons, 3 actions and benefits as to why you should abstain from using drugs. There should be no doubt in this room that you guys should abstain from using drugs. Now, we know people that have passed away because of drugs, whether family, friends, famous people, and sadly to say, a lot of people are doing it nowadays. And as I've gotten older, I've realized what my mom meant when she once said that it's the worst feeling as a parent is to grieve over a child who's still alive. Now, I can't make you guys not do drugs, but I could at least hope that when you are offered, either you could say no or help someone else abstain from doing drugs, not only for your benefit, but for the health and the safety of those around you. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. What was the time?
4:20.
4:20. What was the
3:53.
3:53 of Lorena?
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, we're over here somewhere. Yes, please.
Hi, I'm Jessica.
Hi, Jessica. Jessica critiquing Jessica.
I really liked how in your first example, not only did you use statistics, but you also used personal stories that were both powerful and beneficial, and especially the second story you used by your brother, which was probably pretty hard for you to say as well. So I'm really glad you used that one.
Yes, that was good. Improvement.
Hi.
What's your name? Judy. Hi, Judy.
I really like your speech. I think it's really persuasive. I don't have anything perfect, but you're a good speaker.
Okay. You started with quoting your mother, stay in the power stance, and I think that's as I told you, I like quotes from mothers, and it was sort of a paradox or a tricky quote because, how can you grieve for a child that's still alive? But as we heard in your brother's case, we know they probably did a lot of grieving in his case as they saw him self-destructing slowly or quickly. Your thesis preview was good. Your significance statement was excellent. You point to the fact of how pervasive alcohol and marijuana is these days around the college campus, and there's no denying that, so that was an illusion that people could understand and relate to. So that was good. On your first reason, you talked about impaired judgment and slowed reaction time, and you quoted the National Survey on Drug Use, which you gave some rather shocking statistics of those people that were found to be driving with illicit drugs. It listed the ones that they had been taking, and many of them were taking prescription drugs, but the surprising figure was marijuana. Because, you know, hey, I'm fine to drive with marijuana, most people would say, but not really. And it's becoming really apparent in Washington and in Colorado, where we have these experiments going on, that they're having problems with this going on. I wish that you had given your friend Annabelle a name in your presentation. It makes it real. Little detail in storytelling that makes it come alive. Your story supported your position. I would have done a little more felt sensing on feeling your loss and re-feeling your anger and frustration at this having had happened and so forth. Okay? On your second reason, and this is kind of a tricky one because most people do not think that marijuana is harmful and or addictive, and it may not be so for an occasional adult user, but it's quite different for adolescents that use it. The studies of adolescents are troubling, especially young adolescents that are using marijuana. They find permanent changes in the brain. And so you chose not to give a study or talk about any of that, but to give the story of your brother and use that as evidence. And it was pretty persuasive evidence. Kind of sad. And you were very lucky with your brother. I've had people tell stories of family members that have overdosed and died. So that was a good story, well told, and I would only suggest to you that you need to be aware that if you ever get in an argument about the addictive nature of marijuana, you need to become armed with some more information and evidence and studies. On your concrete actions, they were all consistent with what you're proposing, and I thought surrounding yourself with people that have taken your pledge is a good idea. It's like my mother used to say, if you lie down with dogs, you're going to get fleas. So, it just goes to show if you're hanging out with people that are using illicit drugs, they slip into your life somehow, some way. On the benefits, I very much liked the way you stressed the benefits, the way you gave them their proper due, and you didn't give it just one sentence, but you went on about the benefits of following your proposal. You're misstating and misusing a word, and so let me just correct you, even though it may embarrass you a little. I'd rather have me correct you than an employer correct you. The word is abstain. You meant to say people should abstain from using marijuana and drugs, and you kept saying sustain, and they kind of sound similar, but you don't mean to say you should sustain from using drugs. You mean abstain, right?
Yeah.
So just a little small detail, but every time you said it, it drove me up the wall.
It also drove Damon up the wall.
Good?
Yeah.
Good?
It's just because it means the opposite thing. You're literally telling, like, yes, you need to continue using drugs all the
Sustain
time.
that marijuana use!
If
Okay.
you come off the high, it's going to be bad. You have to
Sustain it, yeah.
that's right.
Okay, here we go. And then finally, you tied back to your mother and the really interesting quote about grieving for a child that's still alive. Your connived. Use a variation in my tone. Make effective eye contact and don't forget my speech. How'd it go?
I didn't forget my speech.
No, you didn't. That's for sure.
I think I used variation. And I think I made eye contact. Did I make eye contact?
Yeah.
I made eye contact.
Yeah, very good job. Good improvement, Jessica. Very nice job. Thank you. Okay. Next. Hello. Okay. Helen, pardon me, Linda stands before us, not Helen, Linda. Gotta get Helen out of Linda. Linda stands before us in the power stance, nicely focused and ready to persuade us. Managing attention, communicating respect non-verbally, finding friendly eyes near the front and the center. Say your name, feel the love. Start your speech.
Hi, I'm Linda.
Hi, Linda.
As Americans, roughly 30% of the food we buy gets tossed out, thrown away, or otherwise discarded. Now, this statistic might not mean a lot to you, but picture this. Each day, that amount of food could fill up the entire Rose Bowl Stadium, and it goes straight to our landfills. Today, I want to persuade you to compost. I'm going to give you 2 reasons why and some actions and benefits that will follow if you adopt my proposal. Now, I know that most of us live in apartments or dorm rooms where composting is neither practical or not even available sometimes, but we all have households that we go back to and homes where we can implement composting. The first reason I want you to compost is because it's easy and it's effective. And my support for this is my own stubborn family. My own stubborn family who a few years back I convinced to start composting. So we went to the grocery store, we just bought a couple of composting bags and a small bin, and every week when we took out the trash, we'd put our food scraps into the yard waste instead of the trash. And after a few weeks, we started to notice that our garbage had shrunk to a really small size, and we were able to downgrade to a smaller bin from the city, which was a lot cheaper. And this made me feel accomplished because not only had I convinced my family to reduce food waste, but we had also saved a little bit of money and we started to budget our groceries a little better. The second reason I want you to compost is because composting can actually prevent flooding. So I could pelt you with tons of statistics about how composting reduces food waste and it reduces the amount of greenhouse gases that are emitted into the air, but let me tell you something new that I learned and something that you might not know. Now rewind to a few days back. I was telling my boyfriend about this speech, and he said, composting is great and everything, but where does it actually go? And I didn't know what to tell him because I didn't know either. So I'll tell you one of the main uses that composting can have. Compost can actually be turned into compost blankets, which are essentially compacted sheets of compost that can be spread out over the ground. And it can prevent stormwater flooding, it can reduce erosion rates, and it can also promote vegetation growth. And learning this made me feel excited to know that there are always new ways to protect and conserve our planet. So I've given you 2 reasons why you should compost, and now I'm going to give you 3 concrete actions you can take and some benefits that will follow. The first thing you can do is start at the source and buy no more than what you need from the store every week. The second thing you can do is when you go back home to your family, convince them how easy and quick composting is, and convince them to start doing it. And the third thing you can do is compost yourselves. There are tons of green bins on campus and on the hill, where you can throw away your food scraps, and you can also learn how to sort your waste. And when you perform these actions, I hope that composting will be less of an incentivized chore and more of a daily habit. And hopefully you'll find that you budget your groceries better, you're spending less money, and you're doing a small part for the planet that will result in a big difference later on. In summary, I've given you 2 reasons why you should compost and some concrete actions and benefits that will follow if you adopt my proposal. There should be no doubt in this room that you should compost. So the next time you go to a football game at the Rose Bowl, think about how your actions have stadium-sized consequences, but also think about how they can do a large amount of good. Thank you.
Thank you. Linda? What did you like about Linda's speech? Hi, Bo.
I really like the speech, but sure, like your speech is really structured. It's really clear that like all the elements that we are convinced in different perspectives, and like how you fill in your personal experience and also some steps also.
Okay. Improvement.
Hi, I'm Jessica.
Hi.
Jessica.
I love the stadium part at the beginning, at the end, how you tied back to it. The one thing I would say is just tone variation. That's about it.
It's a good point, and something. Stand a little closer. You've worked your way back almost to the back of the room, to the back of the wall. So you want to stay closer to your audience, if at all possible. Well, this was a textbook speech of choosing something that needs to be done for the planet, and you started with an arresting fact, but you just didn't leave it as a boring statistical 30%. But when you made it into a visual picture, so in other words, it was abstract, and you made it concrete. Thank you, sticky text. You created a picture that we'll all remember about how much waste there is. Now, you know, this speech could have easily been about not overbuying, sharing your food with the poor. With that introduction, it could have been about helping out your local communities that buy bruised vegetables and things like that. You know, but you chose to do the whole notion of composting. So that was composting was a good choice, and you, interestingly enough, in your significant statement, you said, I know most of you live in dorms and apartment where it's hard, but when you get back home, so you sort of, recognize that it's sort of difficult for people to do it here, but they can do it a little bit by the way UCLA, has bins for different things. So that was good. On your first example, you used your family as your evidence, and that was good. And you said how you felt, and so that was pretty persuasive. Your second one, and I wish you had cited your source down below more than you seem to cite your boyfriend in the speech.
Oh, that might be on the second page because it extends the second page.
Yeah. Nora Goldstein. Yeah. And I wish you had stressed.
Where I got
where you got the information, so it had a little more credibility. Not that your boyfriend is an expert and wonderful and all that stuff, but that would have been more persuasive because it was an interesting and kind of unknown fact that composting can be used to be turned into blankets and straw and mulching and help with flooding and so forth. So that was interesting and something unexpected. So that was another thing that made this kind of sticky. That was good. On your concrete actions, you had people say what they were going to do when they got home, and you urged people not to buy more than they could use. That's kind of easier said than done, and then use the ones that are on the hill. As I said to a couple of the other students, don't poo-poo the benefits in the persuasive process. You gave it one sentence.
Yeah, and then I tried to add more after.
Yeah, but you want to, really give it some oomph there. Your summary, conclusion, and tie back were all fine. And you tie back to the Rose Bowl, your big, vivid image. You said maintain eye contact for everyone for 5 seconds. Emphasize the start of each section so your narrative stands out. And I think I like the way you did that this time more than before. And stand up straight in the power stance. How did that go?
I think I definitely made eye contact throughout the speech because I was really, really focused on it.
Good.
And then stand up straight. I guess I have a tendency to slouch just in general, so I tried to bring my shoulders back. And
good.
I guess
Good.
we'll see if I did that.
Okay, good. I think that when you said I was really concentrated on it, that's something that setting goals will have you do. When you say, okay, I'm going to make eye contact, if it kills me this time, you do focus on your goals, and so that's a very good thing. Thank you very much, Linda. You had good improvement over the semester, quarter, whatever it was, this summer. 343. Thank you. Okay, and we go to the next volunteer. Thank you. It's even stapled. Yay. Okay. She's just taking care of her liquid needs.
Spent a lot of time speaking. She can take a drink.
Yeah. So loud. Okay. Damon stands before us, managing attention, communicating respect, finding friendly eyes near the front and center. Say your name, feel the love, start your speech.
Hi, I'm Damon.
Hi, Damon.
Now, if any of you are like me, you procrastinated. And you probably lost a decent amount of sleep last night staying up, working on your made-to-stick final. Well, for you, I have some bad news. See, today I'm here to persuade you to get enough sleep. I'm going to offer 2 reasons why, and I'm going to give you actions you can take and benefits you will receive. And honestly, I think that everyone in this room will care about what I have to say, because getting enough sleep really is the easiest way that we as college students can have a better life. The first reason that getting enough sleep is so good for you is just that it makes you happier. Recent work published out of the book Nurture Shock showed that, actually no, this is research that's published out of the journal Cerebral Cortex, the neuroscientific journal, showed that people had, when they were tired, increased responses to stimuli of anger and fear and decreased responses to any kind of positive stimulus. What this means, essentially, is that being tired just physically makes it harder for you to feel happy, and it only makes it easier for you to feel depressed, angry, and afraid. I feel frustrated when I read this type of statistic because a lot of people give up their sleep for something they think is going to make them happy. They do it to watch the next episode of whatever show they're binging. They do it to stay out late at night. But in the end, it's actually just self-destructive to their own happiness to stay out so late. The second reason that getting enough sleep is so important is just that it makes you so much healthier. Recent research that was compiled by the Huffington Post from places like Harvard University and Yale showed that chronic sleep deprivation increased your risk of dying from almost all of the major chronic diseases, including heart disease, cancer, and it actually quadrupled your risk of a stroke to have chronic sleep deprivation. And I just feel so earnest about this because this is the easiest way that you can extend your life. I'm not telling you to go to the gym every day. I'm not telling you to eat 3 pounds of celery. All you have to do is relax in bed and fall asleep. And you can live so much longer than if you're chronically sleep deprived. Finally, I want to share some actions that you can take that will easily help you get enough sleep. The first one is to just get 7.5 hours of sleep at night. That's the amount where you can wake up and feel refreshed because you're right at the end of your sleep cycle. In order to do that, you can help your sleep cycle regulate itself by maintaining one time that you wake up every morning. This will help your melatonin cycles make you feel more tired at night. The third thing you can do is just regulate what you're doing at night. Avoid screens right before bedtime to help you fall asleep better, and just manage your bedtime schedule. If you do that, the benefits to you will be enormous. Not only will you live longer, and not only will you be happier, you'll also be more motivated to work during the day, you'll have more energy to pursue your passions, and you'll even be more attractive. In summary, I've shown you 2 reasons why you should get enough sleep at night, and I've given you actions you can take and the benefits that it will give you if you get enough sleep at night. There really should be no doubt in this room that you should get enough sleep at night. So, if you're like me and you maybe procrastinated a little bit on your sticky final, I may have some bad news. But I also have a solution, because if you're like me, you're about to take a very nice nap. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Damon. Okay, what did you like about Damon's speech? What was the time?
1:15.
1:15. Thank you. What did you like, please?
Hi, I'm Elisa.
Hi, Elisa.
I thought it was really entertaining. You always have like really great variation, and I thought like the best part was that you like very clearly said the benefits, which is like the most convincing part. So yeah, it was really fun.
Yes. Improvement, please.
Hi, I'm Faye.
Hi, Faye.
And although I didn't have enough sleep, but I still can concentrate on the speech because it's full of passion, and you always emphasize on the content you want to tell us. So I don't have some ideas by improvement.
Okay, thank you, Faye. Well, you chose an illusion that probably everyone or most everyone in the room could relate to. That was good. But then you shifted gears on people and said, but I'm going to talk to you about getting enough sleep. So that was a good, sort of unexpected juxtaposition. And you had a good thesis statement. And you had a very terse but to the point significant statement, basically just to this group here, which is to say it's real likely as college students you're not getting enough sleep, period. There are statistics that support that, but it's a given, it's a known, and you didn't really have to document it, so that was fine. On your first reason, you kind of lost your bearing a little bit, but then you got it back. And what you want to do is what you want to do with when you give your first reason is stress that word happier, so it really stands out. And then the word studies, and then you go, and I like the way you went away from going to the first one and then went to the cerebral cortex journal, which was much better, right, and much more credibility, and cited that as people were, when they're sleep deprived, they respond more to negativity and less to positive stimuli. It's just logical, but they've proven this, and so if you're feeling real frustrated during the day, maybe your sleep is a big reason why. But my second reason, but I have another reason, transition. I want you to get enough sleep. It'll make you healthier, and then spray the terribles: heart disease, cancer, diabetes, obesity. Many people don't really see the link to this, but this is linked by good studies. Interestingly enough, Arianna Huffington has written a New York Times bestseller on this book, and which is why she features it so often in her newspaper about the subject. Even you can go to Marriott's now and find a little 8-sentence card on how to get a good night's sleep at the Marriott, which she wrote. So she's really into it and pushing it. She debated, by the way, for Oxford when she was an undergraduate, which makes her near and dear my heart. But in any case, you cited the Huffington Post, and let me just, as a quick aside, say generally, I'm glad you quickly added, but studies at Harvard and Yale, and you didn't leave it at the Huffington Post, because some people think it's a rag or it's a freelance, Okay. Then the concrete actions. You were specific. 7.5 hours sleep. You didn't beat around the bush. You said it, and that was good. Secondly, try to wake up at the same time each day. And I like very much, as your colleague suggested, the way you stress the benefit. Let your hands be by your side. Just be natural. Summary, conclusion, and tieback were all really good. Your canais. Don't have darty eye contact. Interesting word. Use vivid examples and strong evidence. Maintain energy in my posture and movement. How did it go?
I was improved about eye contact. I definitely, from the very first day, I've mostly been doing about 2 seconds in one place and then moving. And I know you had recommended 3 to 5 from my first speech, so that's still something that I'm working on.
Okay.
I do think that my evidence was strong. I do think I got through to my audience, and I would say that for the most part I was probably one of my strongest suits was my ability to maintain energy.
Yeah, your energy and your passion that comes through. I'd like to be able to bottle it, because I can get somebody to do all the check boxes of a speech, but deliver it in kind of a monotone, and it still doesn't persuade as well.
Right.
See? And you have that last ingredient of that passion and that, I really care about whether you do or not. You seem to have mastered a way to convince us that you do care about it.
Thank you.
And that's something you should remember and keep with you as you continue to communicate throughout your life. That the realness which is there, and people can sense that, and they pick up on it. So that was good. So very good job and good improvement. Just remember, keep away from. You got to worry about your hands and the steepling and all that stuff.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Damon. Okay, and next, Don't all volunteer at once. Oh, are we done? Oh, we got another one. Okay.
No more.
We're done. Okay. Okay, good. Okay, come on down. Lockheed Aircraft, come on down. The bribe is right. This is your evaluations, which go on this pile.
Yeah.
Okay, this is more than one, right?
No, just one.
That's just one.
Yeah,
okay,
2 pages.
Okay, good. Okay, you're a little shorter. Oh, do you have a, can you borrow a sweater from somebody? You're showing up white on my camera. Can someone loan her a sweater? A coat? Anybody have a coat? Yeah, here, loan her your coat. Excellent. Thank you. Thank you for being flexible. Yeah, that's good. That's excellent. Yeah. Oversized, yeah. And now roll up your sleeves way up. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's very chic. Yeah, very in like Flint. Yeah. Roll up your sleeves so your hands will show. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Okay, very. Oh, now you show up on the screen. Yeah, very good. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I gotta watch this battery to make sure it doesn't go out on me. Okay. Okay.
Hi everyone, I'm Anne.
Hi, Anne.
Have you got the flu shot? I'm sure you will hear this question several times in the fall. Flu is a contagious disease which can lead to hospitalization and even death. Today I want to persuade you to get a flu shot annually. I will give you 2 reasons why, 3 actions how, and the benefits that will follow you if you adopt my proposal. A Women's Day journal in 2007 states that flu vaccine is the best way to reduce your risk of being hospitalized and dying from the flu virus. I agree with the journal. Without a vaccine, you can get sick easily and rapidly spread the virus to others. The first reason I want you to get the flu shot is greatly reduces your risk of getting the disease. My support is the CDC report in 2014 shows that the flu vaccine reduces the children's risk of the disease by 74% and adults by 54%. Even my family doctor told me that without a vaccine, it's easy to get the disease through the air or just by shaking hands with sick people. I feel vulnerable because there is a high chance to get the disease, as a virus can be anywhere in the air. So a flu shot is a safe protection. The second reason is, besides protecting yourself, you can protect other people around you by getting the flu shot. According to the Harvard School of Public Health, there is like 30% people carrying the virus but still stay healthy, and they spread the virus to others without knowing that. My friend was hospitalized last year from the flu without contacting any sick people. She definitely got the disease from the disease carrier, like someone who's carrying the virus without expressing the sickness. I feel vulnerable because I feel really scared, because if I get the virus but still stay healthy, I can pass the virus to my family, my close friends, my close people, and even the community. Getting the flu shot is protecting not just yourself, but your family, your friend, and your society as a whole. There are 3 actions that you may think to get the flu shot, first check with your healthcare insurance to cover the flu shot. Second, if you don't have any insurance, you can check with your school. UCLA offer free flu shots annually in the fall. And third, make sure that you get the flu shot before October, when the disease outbreak occurs. Overall, getting the flu shot is the best way to protect yourself, your friends, your family, and your community. In summary, I have shown you 2 reasons why, 3 actions, how, and the benefits that you will have after getting the flu shot. There should be no doubt that you should get the flu shot annually. When you are healthy and protected from the flu, people around you can stay safe as well. So I strongly encourage that you get the flu shot in this fall. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. 353. Very nice. Okay. Could you put the sunglasses down off into there? Yeah. So now you don't look like a valley girl anymore. Okay, good. Okay, good. Okay, what'd you like about Anne's presentation? Hi, Natalie.
I really liked your speech. It was really easy to follow, and I think you had a lot more confidence this time compared to your previous speeches. I like that.
Yes, she did. Improvement?
Hi, I'm Damon.
Hi, Damon.
Hi, Damon.
I'd say your main place to improve is probably just that you had kind of a monotone throughout. Your sentences sort of blurred into each other. If you could emphasize certain words, that would make it more engaging.
Thank you.
Yeah. It was a good speech. Well documented, well researched. But I agree with Damon. The 2 big things you'll continue to need to work on is to work on vocal varieties, and you'll go through any future speech you give yellow keywords, and when you practice them, emphasize those words so they stand out. So you don't, because the monotone will put people to sleep. Secondly, when you watch yourself tonight on YouTube, you'll see that you're still doing this. You're still swaying a little. So lock and load your legs. Put them a little wider apart so they prevent you from swaying. Leaves the sunglasses from your head, from the front of you. Just lose them. Don't have any pencil in your hand or anything. Just you up there. Let me go through the speech. It was good. You asked a rhetorical question, not my favorite intro, but it got the job done. The thesis was well done. The Woman's Day article was good. It's the best way to avoid getting the flu. Your first, and you cited Chicago style. Thank you very much. That was good. And secondly, in your second reason, you said that you cited the CDC, and that was an impressive source. I would have liked you to have both in the CDC and the Harvard Public School of Health stated the year of your study. That gives it additional credibility. See, 2015, very recently, see? Yeah. Yes, I know you have it written there, but you understand they can't read your writing. You have to orally present it to be persuasive in the oral medium. That's one of the lessons I'm trying to teach you, that a footnote is not enough in the oral medium. You've got to make an argument from authority, and you have to make your authority stand out when you're arguing, or people won't understand they are authorities. It's just like when we were talking to Linda, and I said, Linda's boyfriend, I'm sure he's a swell guy, but he's no authority on composting, right? Right? Right. Okay. Back to reality. Your actions were good. It's only $20 or $10 at a pharmacy out in the world, so it's cheap. Everyone can get one, can afford one. So, and they're free, as you point out, UCLA. So, your summary, conclusion, and tieback were all fine. You came within the time limit, and that was good. Your canais, don't go overtime. Convince the audience to get a shot. Be more confident. How'd it go?
Yeah.
Yes?
It's go well, right?
Well, yeah, well, I think it went well.
I think the time this time.
That was good, yes. And I think you convinced us. I already got one, so you didn't have to convince me, but, you know, I just automatically get one every September 1st. On the confidence, as one of your colleagues pointed out, you are more confident, and you need to fake it till you make it. And if you don't feel confident, just pretend you own the room and be confident. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Next. I think, just because I'm worried that the battery's going to go, I'm going to change the battery on you. Do you mind? I never got a longer